Now it's time to start a discussion about the next layout that you can use in Android, and that is a constraint layout. So I'm going to delete this nested scroll view, and I'll add here a constraint layout and use this Android text widget constraint layout. So I'm going to choose that one. Now I will add 3 buttons here. So I'm going to type button, match parent wrap content. It's going to have an ID, button 1. And in a constraint layout, if you don't add constraints to the widgets that are inside the constraint, they are going to be all stuck up together here at the top. So as you can see, this is underlined and it says that the view is not constrained vertically. At runtime, it will jump to the top unless you add a vertical constraint. So you need to add constraints, and we're going to see how you can add those constraints. Let's add the text button 1. Now let's add the constraints. So I'm gonna type here to top of parent. So to top of. So I'm gonna type to top of. What is the top of? So this one, to top of parent, and then I will type constraint end to end of parent, and to start of parent, and to start of, so to start of parent. So those are the constraints, but you still have an underline here because it's not constrained vertically. So what you need to do, I'm gonna type here constraint bottom, so constraint bottom to top of, and here I'll add ID button 2. So I'll type here button 2. I'm not going to create button 2 immediately. Button 2. I have a problem. So it should be constrained. So constraint bottom, not baseline. Constraint button to top of ID button 2, which is not yet created, but we're going to create it immediately. Then I will go down here. I will create another button. Let's copy this code. Actually, let's type the code ourselves here. So let's type button match parent for the width. It should be ID button 2. Alright, so we have button 2. Let's delete this. Constraint button. So right, so now we need to also add constraints to this one. So I'm gonna type here to end of parent and to start of parent. So I'm gonna constrain it horizontally. Let's look at design. As you can see, they are stuck together there. Then I will type here, I'm gonna type constraint top. So we're gonna constrain the top to the bottom of. So constraint top to bottom. Where is constraint top to bottom? Constraint top to bottom of button 1. So it's gonna be below of our button 1. Need this. Let's look at design. As you can see, now it's below of our button 1. We have a problem here. It should be button 2. Alright, let's look at design. Now as you can see, it's like this. Let's add the text button 2. So by adding the constraint top, so we're constraining the top of this button to the bottom of the button 1. So this is what we're doing here. We're constraining this button, we're constraining the top, so the top to the bottom of the button 1. Now let's add another button. Let's type button match parent wrap content for the width and height. Wrap content here, not match parent. It's gonna have an ID button 3, and it's gonna have a text button 3. Then I'll go down here, and now I need to add constraints to this, because if it's not constrained, it will go to the top. So let's add constraints. So now I'm gonna add here constraint start first. So constraint start, meaning left, to start of parent, to end of parent. Then I'm gonna add constraint bottom to bottom of parent. So constraint bottom to bottom of parent, and constraint top, so constraint top to bottom of button 2. So now we are adding this below of our button 2 with this line of code. So let's look at design. So now we have this, and it looks okay. Now another thing that you can do besides those constraints that we saw here is that you can add a chain style. So if I add a chain style here, so I'm gonna type chain style. So I'm gonna choose the vertical chain style because our buttons are added vertically, but if you have we can add them also horizontally, and in that case you need to use this one, constraint horizontal chain style. So I'm gonna select constraint vertical chain style, and I'm gonna type here, let's say, spread inside. Alright, so I changed the code a little bit because this constraint vertical chain style was not working because I had a problem with the constraints, and now I added those constraints that you see here. So add them. Also I'll add a code for this up in the description, so you can copy this directly to not type yourself. And as you can see, we have now those constraints. And now if I want to add a chain style, now you can see we have the chain style packed. So let's see what packed means. So let's go to Google, and we have here packed, and the views are packed together after margins are on the core. You can then adjust the whole chain bias. You can adjust the left or right. So the chains, the views are packed together with this packed option. But you can also use spread or spread inside, and if you use spread, the views are evenly distributed. Let's try that. So let's open Android Studio, let's type here spread. So spread, let's look at design, and as you can see they are evenly distributed. And if I change this to spread underscore inside, let's look, as you can see they are now in this way. And this is very, very interesting and powerful. Let's look at Google again. So spread inside, the first and the last view are fixed to the constraints on each end of the chain, and the rest are evenly distributed. So this is what the spread inside is doing. The spread, as I said previously, the views are evenly distributed. This said the documentation. So you can also arrange them horizontally and use spread inside, weighted, packed. So this is how you can use a constraint layout, and this you can use a chain. And the chain style is recommended to be added to the first widget that you have in your constraint layout. So we're gonna add, as you can see here, I added this to the first button, and this option was this attribute was added had an effect on all the widgets that we have here. Alright, so I'm gonna end this video here and see you in the next video.